Talk.
Come on, Gib. What?
Wow, technology. It's always a little bit of a stumper. Well, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you for being here. Thank you. Welcome to another Pub Talk, sponsored by the Entrepreneurship Club at Eastern Oregon Ventures. So I wanted, before we start with the talk, we have Juan Barraza here from Portland State University from the Invent OR competition. We're still waiting for Leslie to get here, so I got a little bit of echo, huh? Anyway, so I think we'll do that presentation at the end when Leslie's can be here. I wanted to once again thank the Entrepreneurship Club for another great year, a lot of hard work, and being able to make these pub talks come together along with other kinds of activities. The executive team at the Entrepreneurship Club, or the E-Club as we're calling it, is Sarah Flanagan, Julie Hernandez, Hannah Flanagan, Darren Honner, and Nikki Voltaire. Hey, nice job. So we had elections last week, and it looks like we've got incoming. We've got a new president, Aaron Kelly, and Grace Huggins as the vice president. Darren's returning as treasurer, and we're still trying to convince everybody else to help some more. We're doing some active recruiting right now. In addition to that, we just got back. We spent part of the term working on 2 new T-shirt designs. We did a class last year where we looked at school spirit and what kinds of things would help build school spirit. And one of the things that came out of that is a lot of the designs that we see for logo apparel and stuff for the university are very corporate in nature, which would make sense because Barnes & Noble is our bookstore and they provide, a lot of those materials. So we brought in a designer who agreed to help us out. We did the first couple of designs through Eastern Oregon Ventures, a nonprofit that's focused on helping to build the entrepreneurial ecosystem here in Eastern Oregon. We got a donation to the club for the first batch of T-shirts, 2 designs, 12 of each design, to be used by the club as a business venture next year for fundraising. So the club will be able to start with those T-shirts and designs, be able to market them to the students, be able to replenish inventory, and we'll be able to build new designs as well. So hopefully it's a revenue engine that'll help grow the club and finance our activities going into the future. There you go, congratulations. So if anybody else has other ideas, what things they'd like to contribute, or ways to help out, ideas on how to help out with the E-Club, we'd love to hear them. So tonight we're very fortunate to have with us here Randy Willson, who's who's a very successful entrepreneur and enjoyed a great deal of success over the course of his career and in this region. In order to introduce him, I'd like to bring up Tanner Willson. Oh, by the way, this is Willson with 2 L's, not like my name with 1 L. It's so funny because you see the emails go around, and that's a very common thing to kind of misplace the L's. At any rate, Connor is also a past president of the Entrepreneurship Club, outstanding graduate in economics and business from EOU, and I think Randy's an EOU grad too. So thank you, Tanner. Will you help us out?
Hey everybody, brought my dad here today. Randy Willson, he owns Grocery Outlet in Grande. He's gonna give us sort of a different perspective from what we've seen in our other pub talks. Randy's gonna tell the story of how Grocery Outlet, the corporation, started, and he's gonna talk about his role in the club. He worked his way up within that company from just a general laborer to all the way up to an independent owner, and he'll talk to us a little bit about what that means. And without further ado, here's Randy Willson.
Thank you. I'm gonna take this because I hate to be tied down. Everybody who knows me knows that I hate to be tied down. Little turnout today, and the club asked me, there'll be more people, or told me there'll be more people. Well, I deal with one person at a time every single day. Every single day, I deal with one customer at a time. Successful people deal with one person at a time. They get your undivided attention, and they feel special, and they feel rewarded, and they feel better for that contact that you just had with them than they did before the contact. So I'm used to dealing with one person at a time. So small turnout doesn't mean anything to me. If I can impact one person, then I'm successful. Okay? My son, and my daughter are truly successful people. Hardworking. It's what I instilled in them. It's what I got from my father. I expect nothing else. I'm demanding. They came through. Tanner is amazing in economics. He got recognized in economics. My daughter got recognized in accounting. It's important to know that they both paid their own way through college from beginning to end. I could afford it. They paid it. They earned it. They deserved it. And they're better for it. I did the same. My father did the same. He got out of the Navy, started his own business. It was a bar. He was an entrepreneur. I started out learning from the best entrepreneur in the world. 5 years old, had my Kool-Aid stand, right? Started 5 years old. 7 years old, sold night crawlers. 12 years old, when they let me operate a lawnmower, I mowed lawns, okay? Started out, was born to be an entrepreneur. Then this opportunity came by called Grocery Outlet. And I'm going to sell you on Grocery Outlet, okay? If you're a true entrepreneur, you got to understand that there's got to be some kind of formula offered. When you open up any business, when you offer anything to your customers, your clientele, there's got to be a formula offered. I call it the perfect formula. You got to have value to your customers. You got to add value. What are you adding value? Is it time? Can you get your customers in and out in time? Can you get them? Their time is valuable, right? Can you get them in and out in time? We do that. Do you know them by name? We're known for customer service at the store. Everybody's known by name. Customer service, it's where I hang my hat. I've done it for many years. We're going to talk about this great little company, though, called Grocery Outlet. Founded in 1946, started with a napkin. Started in Redmond, Oregon, sitting down, signed a contract agreement on a napkin with Bob Downs to start the Oregon sect of Grocery Outlet. Military surplus store, got major supplier, Del Monte, 1971. We have numerous suppliers now. We are well known, well respected. Redmond. It's not me, guys. Anyways, started in Redmond. Second generation was Peter and Stephen Reed. Third generation, Eric and McGregor. Privately held still. We are going public. Started out with just grocery. If you look at the store now, you can see how it's advanced. We found a need for produce, for fresh meats, actually. Our second to the last, organics, is our latest. The way Grocery Outlet works is we take the perfect formula. The surplus of merchandise has to go somewhere. If somebody's in the main market, so your Safeways, your Albertsons, your Fred Meyers, they found a long time ago that when you're growing green beans and you're canning green beans, you don't just lay off your crew when the main market is satisfied. So what they do is they keep that crew on. They don't lay them off and put them on and retrain. Saves money. They found an outlet, a grocery outlet. So we service not only the customers by offering value by retail, but we service the vendors by offering a place to get rid of their excess merchandise. If you look at my store, you'll see items that maybe you won't see anywhere else. What are you going to do? What does the manufacturer do with Captain Crunch, Christmas Crunch after Christmas? Right? Do you throw it away? No, it's Christmas Crunch. The dates are for another 6 months, 8 months, 12 months. What do you do with it? Bring it to the store. I'm going to buy it cheap. I'm going to sell it cheap. That's the value proposition we offer our customers. Okay? That vendor doesn't have to fill his dumpster with stuff that the main markets might lift their nose up at. If you look at the push lately, 40% of the food is used in the United States. 40% of the food is used. 60% is discarded. That's crazy. Now, we've seen opportunity in dating merchandise. We have seen opportunity in inaccurate production. Inaccurate production means I'm going to produce 1 million cans of ragu. My market only used 800,000. I've got 200,000. What am I going to do with them? There's no perfect world. We came up with a solution. We're going to take care of it. We're going to buy it. We're going to sell it cheap. We're going to service our customers. And that's what we do. Now, you got to bear with me because I'm following my son's outline. He wanted to make sure that I mentioned everything. You know, it's almost like grocery outlets growing so fast that it's outgrown my role. And you know, that's why you have a second generation, a third generation, and a legacy to leave it up to. A couple of things I wish I would have done. I would have taken a little bit more computer, which my son has, my daughter has. Very, very important. But I found out that sometimes it just takes a personality, and I can hire the skills. Background of grocery outlet. Lately, we just bought Amelia's over in Pennsylvania. Started out with 13 stores over there. We were trying the value proposition over in Pennsylvania and quite successful in doing so. We have reached out into LA, the LA market. We have totally established ourselves in the LA market, difficult market. In the Oakland store, this has been a few years back. Oakland store is a very difficult store. I believe Safeway or perhaps Albertsons, I believe it was Safeway, pulled out of that store. And Oakland, California asked that we come in and offer our formula, our perfect formula, to their area. We did so. Very successful in Oakland, California. There are now over 300 stores. We are the guest nationwide now that we're over at Pennsylvania, and we're growing faster and faster every single day. We cannot keep operators to fill these stores that we're growing. We're constantly recruiting operators. Every meeting we go to, me and my wife, Michelle here, we go to meetings and they incentivize us on getting new operators. So now I think it's up to $7,000 if I find an operator to be an entrepreneur in the perfect formula. That's easy. $10,000 if they take a store in a year. A gentleman came to me, it's been about 6 years, came to me and he was putting curtains on my freezer. The Oregon Co-op offered huge rewards if you put curtains on your freezer and save energy. I got them for nothing. Talked to the gentleman one-on-one. That was our conversation. We went to lunch, talked to him one-on-one. So, are you happy selling curtains? What was your story before this? He had the personality. He said he owned a grocery store in Hermiston, Oregon. Well, me and my wife talked to him and said, hey, you want to own another grocery store? A year later, he owned Fresno Grocery Outlet. Year later after that, his son owned the other Fresno Grocery Outlet. His hometown of Wenatchee, the store came open. Does an amazing business. Grocery Outlet moved him over to Wenatchee. He's quite successful in the Wenatchee market right now. Putting curtains on to be an entrepreneur with the perfect formula. Amazing, amazing dream. I realized it. I like to pass it on to anybody who has the will or know-how. Customer service doesn't take money. Everybody says you have to have money to make money. It's not true. You have to have drive, desire, a willingness to get doors closed in your face. Our role in the company, that's my beautiful wife there. This is my new store. I operated a store, used to be an old irrigation building. I was successful in that store. I took care of the customers one time, after another, one-on-one. Everybody knew me. If I had a problem with one of my hires, my customers would tell me. That's why I'm successful. All the people around me. My dad always told me, surround yourself with successful people, you'll be successful, son. And I did just that. Before this beautiful store, I had the little store. I was 26 years old. Did a store, did $4 million. Realized my dream. I always wanted to make over $100,000 a year. 26 years old, maybe not a lot of money, but it was to me. It meant I could have another kid. I had my son. We had our 2 kids. 3 kids, 4 kids later. Store still paid for itself. Paid for the kids, braces, every single one of them. Don't know what was wrong with their teeth. I don't know. Always something, I'm sure. But the little store was an irrigation building. We turned it into a store. And it was a successful store because the people inside of it made it successful. My son teethed himself on cardboard inside that store. I got pictures of my daughter tearing up Christmas styrofoam, covered in styrofoam. What do I love about being an entrepreneur? The ability to bring my kids to work. You know? The ability to make my own decisions. I'm under the corporate umbrella, so there's not as much risk as there is reward. You know, there's risk and reward with everything. The greater the risk, the greater the reward. I'm sure you've all heard that. When under the corporate umbrella, we're covered. They're protected. They take care of us. It's a family business. We're a family. But they give me the autonomy to do whatever I wanted to do. So I brought on this wonderful gal, Tori, who owns her own radio station. Back 30 years ago. I've been doing this since I've been 19 years old, owned the stores when I was 26. Nobody advertised, but I could because it was my store. I grew the store. In the first 5 years, I got 4 All-Star Awards. 4 All-Star Awards meant that was the second most prestigious award in the company. 5 years, got 4 of them. Wasn't afraid to think outside the box. I wanted to grow my business. I wanted the best of the best. I got the best radio station. I got the best salesperson. She now owns it. Her own entrepreneur. Right? Surround yourself with successful people. You'll be successful. I was actually, hard to believe, if you're younger, I was the first store to ever get ATM machines. Hard to believe. Sleepless nights thinking about that 3% though, that it was going to cost me in my margin, right? But my customers needed it. They wanted it. It was a value proposition, something I could offer to my customers. I did. Grew sales by over 30% that year. The store now, store-wide, over 300 stores, all of them. ATMs, you know, EBT. Everybody has machines. But I had the ability to do whatever I wanted to do. And I wanted to grow that little store. And we did, with my kids in tow. Here's a wagon. And this is in the new store. I went to an auction, bought a wagon. I wanted to change my wine department. Take it back. Take it back 100 years. I bought a wagon, 100 years old. It's actually used locally in the dirt roads in Grande. Above the wine was filled with Crocs, 100-year-old Crocs. Took it back in time. I have the ability to, that's senior bingo on the bottom. I do senior bingo every second Wednesday. I recognize the people in this area, the seniors who can't get out, the true knowledge of this area. Take your time, speak to a senior. You want to learn something? Take your time. Speak to a senior. We recognize the military. We recognize the college kids. Was one. Starving. When I started growing up, I lived with my sister when I was 16 years old. I lived on my own with her. I was taking care of my nephew. Sometimes we never have milk for cereal. We put water in cereal. I stood in that line. I stood in the cheese line. I came from nothing. So when people tell me it takes money to make money, it's not true. It takes heart. These people above here, Will and Tiffany, have been with me for 14 years. Love their job, love us. We love them. They make the difference. They bring the customers back. They are their own entrepreneurs. I own the store. You ever heard the old saying, it's Joe Albertson's supermarket, but the produce department's mine? No truer words have ever been spoken. You want to be successful? Don't stifle the growth of your young people, the people who make a difference in your store. I don't micromanage. They're their own entrepreneurs. That gentleman in the front runs freezer, runs it very well, and is very successful. His wife runs deli, very successful. She's her own entrepreneur, does whatever she wants in the deli. I let her do whatever she wants. Grows it every single year. Quite successful. Makes me look good. Introducing fresh seafood, we look at the corporate decisions. We talk about the umbrella, the safety net. They spend millions of dollars on advertising. Risk, reward. A little less risk. I've got that umbrella over me, protecting me, advertising for me, trying to grow. Family business, taking care of their family. That's me. And they mean it. Best company, and I've looked into a lot of them, that I've ever had the honor of knowing and being part of. That's the old store. The old rotary registers. It's my father, me, when I was a kid, graduated. Education. Believe that was when I was educated and I grew, that was high school. Me and my wife were thinking high school, college, I can't remember which one that was. College, I couldn't live without it. You know, at the very beginning when I entered college, it was so I wouldn't have to grow up. 4 more years of not paying bills and having to grow up. The whole time, those 4 years, I was a sponge, learning and living, listening to everybody, growing as a person. Still not wanting to grow up, but listening to everything that I was told. Key points like, if you're not earning money, you're spending money. No truer words have been spoken. If you're not making money, you're spending it, right? Surround yourself with successful people if you want to be successful. It's been told to me numerous times. And then always do the right thing. Always do the right thing. Back in the day when the contract was signed on a napkin, handshake meant something. You shake my hand, I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. I'm going to deliver 100 plus 1%. If I tell you I'm going to do something in my store, I'm going to do it. Tell you I'm going to do senior bingo, I'm going to do it. I'm going to offer it while we're there through our career. It always amazes me, and I'm going to deflect here away from this, businesses, corporations that can't deliver within their own 4 walls, but now they're going to offer a different service. We're going to offer free delivery. We're going to offer roadside service. Well, establish that customer service within those 4 walls and then bring it outside the 4 walls. Do what you say you're going to do. Do the right thing. Always. It's cost me a few times. I might have outspoke sometimes, and it cost me money. But I'm going to deliver, and it's going to be the right way, and it's going to be the right decision, and it's going to do right by that person that I came in contact with, one-on-one. Because that's all I deal with, one-on-one. Every single day, 500 to 700 customers, every single day, one-on-one. they see me at the register, my ad girl here, I'll see you at the register. One-on-one. But look at that old store compared to the new one. It's amazing. But love that store. So we can get here through. The new Taj Mahal, the changes. Beautiful store. Offered it to me. Said, hey, you want this new store? I said, are you kidding me? I'm going to take that new store. That was during the housing crisis. And they still invested in me. Right? You don't think that that's almost a burden? But I know, and I tell my kids every single day, if it can be done, I can do it. Right? Housing crisis. They built me a brand new store. They believed in me. There's the new inside of the store. Beautiful concrete. Freezers, double coffins. Huge labor. Trying to figure out how I was going to fill the positions, but knew I could. Because I've been successful in a smaller level. Smaller arena. Same formula. You want to be successful in a larger arena? Be successful in the smaller one. Be successful at home. Do what you say you're going to do. Do the right thing. Me and my wife opening the brand new store. There's the old store and there's the new store. I filled that store up, me and my team filled that store up with my wife while running this store. I ran 2 crews doing this. It was winter, and I didn't get a lot of support from Grocery Outlet because they couldn't get anybody there. So we made it happen. There's no such thing as failure. We made it happen. We took snowmobiles, 4-wheelers, back and forth from this back door to the front door to the back door. We filled the store up. We ran 2 crews. And we're able to be successful in both. Achievements, recognitions. This is the most important part, truly. Giving back to the community. Little story. Grocery Outlet, the old buildings, had sold. He sold it to my old boss sold it to another gentleman. And I thought, well, maybe this is the time. I drove in this valley and thought, I want to, this is where they're going to put me underground. This is where I want to die. I'm going to give myself to this valley. He sold. I thought, okay, I'm going to become a police officer. So I tried out, made the final 2. Final 4, sorry. 2 were getting chosen. I didn't make it. I made it to the final. It was John Courtney's decision, actually. He was the chief of police. He asked me, he says, why do you want to become a police officer? I said, I want to get back to my community. He says, bullshit. I said, what? I said, I want to give back to my community. Quote, out of his mouth. I said, well, what do you want to hear? He told me, you want the benefits. You want the pay. You want the guarantee pay. I said, perhaps this isn't the job for me. He says, perhaps it's not. I didn't make the cut. I truly wanted to get back to my community. He didn't want to hear it. That's fine. I moved to Ukiah, California. Got training that I needed. Spent 2 years there. Took my daughter, 1-bedroom apartment, studio apartment. Came back. They offered the store to me. I got my training. They said we were ready. Grande came open. I took it. I make more money than a police officer. I give 5 times more back to my community. Proud to do so. And these recognitions, just a few accomplishments that me and my wife have got throughout the years. But if we're not giving back, we're not successful. This community has given us everything we have. Cost to consider. Cost to consider. You want to be an entrepreneur? You better have time. You better have passion. I worked 16 hours a day growing that business. That was my baby. My wife took care of the kids and worked. Time, patience, developing a team. What do you give up? Give up a piece of you. But if you want to be successful, you got to give it all. You got to give it all. You can't go on halfway. Never ever decided, I'm just going to go on halfway. We're just going to try this grocery outlet thing. No, I'm going to bring the best people in. I'm going to have them make me successful. I'm going to have them make me look good. My store today is known for customer service. I've given speeches on customer service to my peers of over 300 stores, 600 people, executives. We have secret shoppers come in our store and they look how many carts are in the parking lot. How do your floors look? How do your registers look? How do your bathrooms look? Think that's important? Where does customer service start and where does it stop? Starts right at the parking lot, goes through all the way through your store. Do your employees raise their head from working and then greet your customers? We hang our hat on customer service. My store is known for customer service. I scored 98% or better normally. I was recognized for that too. But truly, it's the employees that make that difference. It's making them feel special, making them feel important, and then making them want to do the right thing by you. And that's what we do every single day. They're part of our family. We are the last mom and pop store. And if you want to be an entrepreneur and be the last mom and pop store, no matter how big you get, I think we do near $7 million a year, small store. During the first 6 years in the 4 All-Star Awards, I could have had any store I wanted. I had kids at that time. I could have had Portland Market stores. I could have made $500,000 a year. But at what cost? I want my kids to grow up here. I already promised myself this is where they're going to put me in the ground. Committed to that. The passion that I feel for that. Everybody knows in my store. All my customers know. A lot of them have passed. A lot of them watched me grow up. They always knew that I cared and would do the right thing and continue to do the right thing. Best parts, there's my family. That's my employees. It's another one of my sons that works in the store. My other son over here helps me out when I need him. Like always. He's always there. Like I said, he's been recognized for his achievements and will continue to be recognized because of what I've instilled in him and what he's made of. Parades, family. Member of the Lions Club, Island City Lions Club. We do sight and hearing. A lot of people can't afford glasses. Hard to believe, isn't it? Hard to believe that you can't afford glasses. We were with that group 4 years. We do eye screening in Island City School. My daughter was in Island City School. They screened her, found out my own daughter needed glasses. Didn't even know. It all comes back to you. Do the right thing. Give back to your community. It all comes back. That is a food drive. Frontier Motors was having a food drive. That's what we donated. Filled it up, took it to their food drive, did the right thing. Honored to do so. Always honored to do so. We work with every single Boy Scout, every single baseball team, every single Philly trip, even the little ways. We've got a bottle machine in the back. We set schedules so they can come in and take care of the bottles. Every single organization, every single independent we've worked with, food banks, churches. 2 things I don't talk about in my store, politics and religion. I've got a side. I've got a religion. I believe in Jesus Christ. Don't talk about it in my store. There's 2 sides, 3 sides, 4 sides. I believe. But do the right thing. It's universal. I work with all the churches. There's no denominations I don't work with. Every single one of them. Backpack program's a good idea of success branching out through all the churches. You know, these kids, they found out, hey, you know, the kids getting taken care of in school. What happens after school? It's called the backpack program. Fill the backpack, take care of them on the weekends, right? We were part of its conception during its first years here. Proud to be so. Habitat for Hunger. In July, we do a food drive. People don't realize that there's more than just November and December's need. There's need year-round. So we bring that to everybody's attention in July. We ask for small donations. Give me $5, buy a food bag to feed the people who need it, and I'll give you $5 in return. My company, they offer that to us. They back that. They sponsor that 100%. Grocery Outlet Inc. $5 for $5. Right? We're talking about a perfect formula. That's one of the perfect formulas. Take care of your community. We've earned over $6,000 our last July. Proud to do so. And continue to work with every single group out there who has a need. That's my back room. That's my wife filling up baskets. Turkey baskets. That is probably 1,000 square feet full of bread, canned foods for people during the holidays. Ford sponsored that one. My wife was the backbone behind that, the labor behind that. Proud to be part of that group. Proud to be part of Ford. You don't all know Ford gives a tremendous amount of funds to this community. On the bottom left, my store, I can do whatever I want. I invited the radio, I invited the newspaper, and I invited the other radio station in. They're going to do a shopping spree. Whoever can raise, or whoever can get more in their basket in that, I think it was almost 2 minutes, then they get donate to that to charity. We bought them all. They all were successful. They all earned for their charity. We paid for all that, sponsored all of that. And proud to do so. The ability to give back. Being recognized Citizen of the Year. Just for doing what I love to do. Giving back to the community. Rewarded for that. My dad did it. In his bars, we never got to see him. Thanksgiving and Christmas. Why? Because he was in his bar. Not drinking. He had a Thanksgiving dinner or a Christmas dinner for the people who couldn't afford it. That's where I came from. My goofy employees, all of them better for the contact that we've had. All of them. Very successful themselves. Me and my wife had a positive influence in their lives, and they were better for the contact that they made with us after than they were before. And we're proud to know them. I'm proud of that. And they are goofballs. I always used to tell my wife, I said, I'd rather hire from a circus than an employment department. You can't find personality like this unless you're looking. Trust me, your customers love it. They will love it. Is that it? Oh, there we go. Words of wisdom. This is my couple. Willie runs the entrepreneur in the freezer. Tiffany, entrepreneur in the deli. Both successful people. Me, an entrepreneur, bigger and better. I want bigger and better. And me and my son, Tanner, and my wife and my daughter always discuss this. These kids have 3 kids. They spend more time on vacation than I do and have less money than I do. So we try to figure out what the true meaning of success is. Is it chasing the mighty dollar? Or is it just living your dream together with somebody you love? That's what you got to decide. Risk and reward. What are the payoffs? What are the detriments? What's it going to cost you? It's a cost to everything. Truly a cost to everything. But whatever you do, I can only tell you, if you want to truly be successful, treat every person one at a time. Make that contact. Be passionate about it. Don't take no for an answer. You don't have to have money to make money. You have to have passion to make money. You have to have education and the willingness to learn and open up your ears. God gave you 2 ears, 1 mouth. Listen more than you speak. Please, listen more than you speak. You will learn something. Successful, 4 kids, store that does almost $7 million. Giving back to my community, make my dad proud. I'm successful. You know, before I offer questions, I see this young couple back here, and I can't think that that's how I was. You know, I caught every meeting, all of these. You know, trying to better myself, try to suck it in, sponge it in, everything that somebody had to offer. My professors, Colleen, who became the mayor of this town. You know, I used to spend hours in her office explaining to her why I bombed her test, and then she'd grade my test and I aced it. You know, but I sucked it all in, took it all in. The good, the bad, the right, the wrong. Even if it's wrong, you can still learn from it. Learn what not to do. I've been surrounded by wrong. I learned what I don't want to incorporate in my life. I learned what I don't want to incorporate in my business plan, right? It's not the perfect formula. And I heard mention, and I don't want to bag on them, the little store down the street. You know, opened once, closed, opened once, still open. What's the perfect formula? What's the value proposition? What are you going to offer those customers? What are you going to offer? What do you have to offer? I talked to my son about this yesterday. I'm going to give you $50,000. What are you going to do with that $50,000? I actually proposed that question to 2 girls at the bank, and they gave me very smart answers. I asked them, I told my son, I'm going to give him $50,000. What are you going to do with that money? And I said, and one of the girls says, I'm going to buy a house. Real estate, buy right, interest rates are low. It's not a bad idea. I made money in real estate. The other one says, I'm going to pay off debt. Another great idea. There's a carrying cost of debt. You're going to win in the long run, right? These are just girls from the bank. Obviously been listening to their parents, right? You don't want a lot of interest. There's carrying cost to everything. So if there's anybody with any questions, feel free to raise your hand. Anybody? Go ahead.
Well, first of all, very inspiring, right? There's one thing to hear that you're an entrepreneur that's been successful, but hearing the whole journey with the hardships and sacrifices, that is huge. So that was very inspiring. Could you talk about your mentors? At what point of your life you encounter 1 or 2 mentors that changed the direction and point you in the path that you are right now?
My mentors, obviously my father. My father was very inspiring, hardworking man. Came out of the Navy, bought his own business, entrepreneur, was successful, inspired me, gave me little tidbits. And then there's a little gentleman called Lee Gandy, owned Wood and Nickel. I don't know, you probably don't even know him. A lot of people loved him or hated him, right? But the man had a lot to offer, and I listened to every word he said, good and bad. Now, it's your decision to whether you're inspired by the dark side or the light side. It's your decision what you put in your perfect plan, your perfect formula. But there was tidbits of information that I found invaluable and that I use today, and I speak words of wisdom that came from him, and I think nothing but great things about him today, just as if when I was playing cribbage with him 5 years ago. Inspired me. He was successful, ended up being a millionaire, surrounded himself by successful people, worked very hard. He gave me the tidbit, if you're not spending money, or if you're not earning money, you're spending money. I still tell my wife that all the time. Honey, you know, we could take Sunday off or we could take Saturday off. Yeah, where do you want to go? Let's go to Tri-Cities. Well, that's going to cost money. We might as well work, right? Costs associated to it. But yeah, I get tidbits from everybody. I worked for a couple in the Ukiah, California store. The gentleman, he has a store, a grocery outlet up in the hills in California. His wife and him divorced. She was Satan. But I learned from her. I learned what I did not want to incorporate in my store. She would bring people into the office and she would make them cry. She thought that was the way to control her staff. I learned what not to do. Okay? My staff runs that store. I'm just the ringleader. They're a bunch of clowns. They're making my customers happy. And they're successful entrepreneurs in every single one of their departments. And we take care of them and we treat them right. Never had to worry about union activity because I pay them good and I take care of them. And if they ever asked for a union in my store, every one of them would deny it because they're taken care of. And I continue to take care of them and will continue to take care of them as long as me and my wife have that store. Oh yeah, you know.
Hey, Randy, how do you get your employees to buy into like feeling like they're part ownership and want to give that great customer service that you are known for?
That's a great question. You know, some things that absorbed throughout the years. Hire smart. You know, you get an opportunity to look at these people. You know, take that opportunity. Hire smart. Train hard. Continue to train every single day. And a little tidbit, inspect what you expect. Look it over. Are they doing what you're anticipating them to do? Are they successful? Because that's all you really want them to be, is as successful as they possibly can. You know, when I went to college up in Eastern, and I was on the honor roll, I didn't score as high as my kids did. I don't know where they got that, obviously from their mom. But I scored high. And I went to psychology and I went to sociology, and I'm a math guy. Man, 2 + 2 means 4. All day long. I have systems in my store that are cut and dry. For me. Not for my employees. They have free reign. They do whatever they want to do. They're entrepreneurs. They run their store. They run their department. But for me, it's cut and dry. I was always wondered why I took sociology, why did I take psychology? And then it was like the first month running the store, I figured it out. You've got to know people, right? You've got to know your customers. You got to know your employees. You might not have, they might not be top 10 material, but you want top 10 performance out of them. And you got to figure out how to make them tick, how to make them work, how to make them bring the best you possibly can out of them. Through psychology. We use a reward system. My wife says my wife is the back patter. Great job. I mean, she's better at it than I am. She encourages me to do that. It means a lot when it comes from me. So to do something great, spontaneous acts of kindness we use. Reward system like coffee cards. You know, thank you for the great job. Now remember, when I was growing up in this community, I grew up through the store. Now my customers are my best sounding posts because I say my woes to them one-on-one. And they give me the best advice. And they're always watching out for me. There's more than me and my wife watching that store. I literally get 5 to 10 comments weekly from my customers about my employees, right? And I pass those on. Give them the freedom. Don't stifle them. Everybody is amazing in their own way and will bring out the best in themselves and the customers. The customers will truly enjoy them having the freedom to, you know, we give them, they have box knives. The customer comes to them and they say, how's this jerky? And every single one of our employees, all 20 plus of them, will open that thing of jerky and offer it to the customers. That doesn't happen anymore. How do you differentiate yourself? Be different, right? Status quo is not going to work anymore. You want to be successful, above and beyond, think outside the box. Turn your employees loose. And when they do something good, reward them for it. Even if it's just a pat on the back. Doesn't have to be monetary. Helps if it is. Doesn't have to be. But you've been in the store numerous times. They treat you like a king. They treat everybody like a king. Right? I tell them, when you're at the registers, that customer, roll out the red carpet. You're on a stage. Turn it on. Have fun. Greeting. How many stores you go to don't count your change back? Won't be mine. Count your change back every single time. Differentiate yourself. Okay? Above and beyond. Accomplish plus 1%. If you say you're going to do something, do it.
So you've talked a lot about success, and I've heard you say a lot that Willie up here on the right is one of the most successful people you know. And I happen to know Willie very well. He doesn't make six figures. He doesn't have a college degree. What do you see? What is it that makes him a successful person to you?
It's a great question. Of course, he's put me on the spot here. That was my son. Growing your own business, having your own passion. Now, when I say I'm going to achieve plus 1%, that means I'm going to achieve plus 1%. I'm on my phone all the time. I have my phone on me. I've got my numbers. I've got my last week numbers. I'm constantly digesting numbers. I'm trying to grow sales. Sometimes your children get overlooked. Of course, that's where the question was. Now, it's true. It's true. We try not to make them feel like they take second to the store, but often when Tanner's sitting at the bus stop waiting for me to pick him up because I forgot because I had a business meeting with one of my accounts, he might feel second fiddle to the store, right? Now, Willie, truly, in my eyes, is successful. Doesn't have a college degree, doesn't make six figures, but I guarantee you he takes 4 or 5 vacations, 6 vacations a year. Me and my wife take one, and that's during our annual meeting. We turn it into a vacation. He takes 6 vacations, spends it with his kids. Costs associated with drive. Where is the balance? Who is truly successful? Is the guy with 6 figures successful, or is the guy who spends time with the family successful? Where do you draw success? I mean, what is your definition of success? And you have to determine that. Where do you want to be? Are you driven? A lot of people don't even have kids. Their career is what they live for. We had 4. Sometimes they got forgotten at the bus stop. But you look at their accolades. Although they might have been latchkey kids, they grew up, roof over their head, food in their mouth, wisdom, and hopefully a good role model. And they're successful today. Will continue to be successful in the future. Oh, no.
If given the opportunity to go back in time and sit down with John Courtney and be offered the job for police officer, would you take it, or would you continue on the path that you were on? That's
a good question, but I love the journey. I love the path that I'm on. I love the path that I taken. And if anybody's going to shoot at me, it's going to be my wife, not a stranger. So, no, perhaps I would have had more time with my kids if I became a police officer. Giving back to the community is all really what I wanted to do. I would have excelled being a police officer. I don't toot my own horn. I just live by certain principles. I'd be successful at whatever I do. I got the perfect formula. I take care of people one at a time. And I do the right thing. You shake my hand, you know it means something. Are those days gone? Let's hope not.
No, it's okay. Thank you, Randy. That was a great talk. And thank you for all the great questions, everyone, too. It was, being an entrepreneur is not an easy road. It's not the right road for everyone. And, the hard part is that most of what people see is just the outcome, right? They see what you've produced. They don't see all the effort and heartbreak and heart that goes into that process. So thank you for sharing that with us. Guys? All right. So I'm just, as we're wrapping up tonight, I wanted to invite, save the best for we wanted to invite Juan Barraza from Portland State to talk about the Invent OR competition. It looks like Leslie's here, so he can help bring home that message, I guess.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Wrong hand?
Yeah, wrong hand. All right. Well, tough talk to follow. Once again, thank you, Randy. That was a very inspiring conversation. Like I mentioned earlier, when we hear about entrepreneurs and innovators, we always hear the Amazons, the Facebook stories, but we don't talk about the entrepreneur that makes a difference here in your community. 99% of the businesses are businesses like yours. They employ local citizens and provide for not just for the employees, for the local economy. So thank you for what you do day in and day out. Thank you. Like I mentioned earlier, my name is Juan Barraza. I'm the Director of Student Innovation at the Center for Entrepreneurship at Portland State. During the last 7 years, we have run a local competition. It's called the Clean Tech Challenge. It is a prototyping competition where we ask our students to develop a business plan, but we ask them two basic questions once they complete the business plan. What can you do with $2,500 in 90 days? We challenge them. And 3 years ago, the Lemelson Foundation, Business and the Economic Agency for Oregon, Business Oregon approached us and asked us, can you invite other schools across the state and ask them to build a local competition to teach our students, regardless of where they are, the principles of prototyping an idea, developing a business plan, building a team, and show at the end with a full prototype. And we talk about prototype not fully developed. It's something that at the beginning is going to look ugly, but it's functional. So we launched that venture 3 years ago. We visited EOU the first year. We talked to Willson and the school kid here at Eastern Oregon University. Then second year, last year, the EOU participated for the first year, and they're coming back for the second year. And to our surprise, everybody across the state has innovators and entrepreneurs within their students and their community. This year, we started with 5 schools, 10 teams in year 1, and our third year is 17 schools, 34 teams, all across the state participating. And for this year, we had 2 teams from EOU. One of the teams is the team Hands Up, they develop a mobile app to track assistance and attendance during the classroom. And the second team is developing backpacking, next generation of backpacks for outdoors hiking. And I'm here today to present Leslie Thompson and his team with $2,500 in prototyping grant, and they will be representing EOU at the finals in Portland, June 28, competing for $30,000 in grants and funding. So congratulations. There you go. Okay. Let's make it official. Come on, Willson. Randy, you want to join us? Absolutely. So this is the first of 500. The $2,000 are in the check your mailbox today. Should be there. So here you go. It's in the mail. There you go. There you go. Leslie, come on over. I'm sure they're gonna take pictures. Willson. There you go.
I can do so.
Yeah, absolutely. There you go, Willson. Actually, perfect. There you go. Thank you. Congratulations.
Good job.
Thank you. This is my challenge, and I'm very inspired to hear Rand's story and how to build a great local business and inspiring. For next year, I would like to have this pasta be the finals for the selection of the next team that represent UU at Inventor Finals. So Willson, if we can have the pasta next year and be the selection ground for the Inventor Finals, that'd be amazing. Okay? So thank you.
He's got the check. He's good. And Juan says you don't have to rush to cash that one.
Well, the little one, yes, you can catch that one already.
All right. Well, thank you, Juan. I appreciate it. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to be part of the competition. You know, 2 years ago, we saw the event in Portland. It was really exciting. Kids were doing some great stuff. And of course, Jerry Lemelson set a high bar for people to follow and backed it up with the money to make the program like this happen. So thank you. Thank you again. Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. Randy, thank you for sharing a great story. Tanner, thank you for bringing your dad and his story here. And thank you for everything you do every day, everyone. Have a great evening.